Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lynn Gardner. It's great to have you with us this afternoon. I'm excited about what I'm going to share with you today, and I think in the next 30 minutes, I can probably get you pretty fired up about it as well. So it's great to have you with us. It's the first call of its kind that I've done this year. Boy, the holidays kind of came on board, and then, I was dealing with some health things. And so, man, I've taken all that excitement and piled it into this one call. I am so excited. So thank you for being with us today. We're going to talk about, how you can we have a tool that can benefit your business. It's benefiting many, many people, real estate agents all across the country. We have associates that are, working with realtors, are hungry for more information about how they can build their real estate business. And I can assure you, if you're in the real estate business, I can assure you, consumers are looking for what we have. Okay. So it's time for the real estate agents to get on board so that they're the people that consumers turn to, for information and for changes and things that would benefit them financially. So that's why we're here today. So it's very exciting. But we're going to be talking about the spend. We are not going to dig deep into technology. Good grief. That would be an hour, 2 hour call. We're not going to do that. We're going to send you something to help, raise awareness about what we're talking about. But the main thing is that we're talking about how to spend so you can stop chasing new business. Listen, hundreds of thousands, literally, of people got into the real estate game in the last few years. When the market started going nuts, everybody jumping in, right? A lot of people don't realize, what really goes into selling real, looking for leads, keeping that referral business for life because they haven't had to deal with it. And so it's very important to understand that every business needs to have some sort of spin to it. Real estate is no different. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. But, that's something that you have to creatively create. It doesn't just happen. You don't get it with a fruit basket or, a bunch of flowers or a Christmas card or any of those things that typically we do in real estate. It doesn't, those are nice things to do. And I'm not, trying to be negative about that. But if you want to spend, it goes a lot deeper than that. And you creatively create it for your business. Some people ask me, how did this come to be, that you be talking about this to the world of real estate, right? And really, I'm engaged in a lot of real estate groups. And what I see over and over is people saying, what do you do for lead generation? Why are they asking that? Because the market's about to shift, okay? And they know that they actually have to do a lot of work to be able to get, the lead generation that they want. So I just circle back around everybody who purchased a home recently and show them how to pay it off in a fraction of the time. What's not to like about that? Well, that one response that I put out there just makes the real estate world go a little viral because they don't understand what we're talking about. And I just want to share that with you today. But some people say, why are you sharing what you do? If you're in real estate, you got all these secret things going on. Why are you sharing it? Well, I say this without boasting, but, I've always believed that you give back. And so in the real estate world, to whom much is given, much will be expected in all areas of life. In the real estate world, I was very blessed and I gave back. I served 2 consecutive terms on the NAR. I was a national speaker for the real estate industry. I created training programs and certification programs, you name it. And so I believe that when there's something good out there, something for the common good of people, that there's no such thing as having too many people doing it. And so I want to share with you what I do believe to be something that's fabulous for consumers, a positive thing for consumers, and there's no better person or people to be, sharing that than people in the real estate business. But I was very blessed in many ways. Before I got into real estate, I was already successful in the corporate world. I was, a marketing, a business development pro, and I just had a God-given ability to create a spin. You can create a spin, you're going to win, right? And so I had that God-given ability. So when I came into real estate, I didn't just get my license and knock around. Oh no, I came in with a spin. I came in with a strategy. And my strategy was I developed an auction program that was pro broker, the way we refer to it as pro broker, because everybody stayed in the game. And I was gobbled up by this, the largest independently owned real estate company in the nation at the time, and off we went. That spin worked for me for 18 years and it brought me 5,000 closings. So believe me, when you get the right spin, but the beauty of it is that spin is what made my phone ring. I didn't go out hunting and fishing all the time looking for business. I had a spin and people remembered me. So in that life, it was, there weren't many female auctioneers. I was a businesswoman. I knew how to market. I knew how to spend, made my phone ring. That's that's what I did for all that time. I have to tell you, what I'm using today kind of leaves that in the dust. This is a phenomenal tool that works for Nationwide. So you need to spend, bottom line, you need to spend with value, right? But you need a spend that's going to have what we call in marketing a stick factor. So it can't just be something fleeting. Again, no offense, but a fruit basket or a Christmas card, that doesn't do it. A block party doesn't do it, right? It just, it needs long lasting benefit. What can you do so that people remember you long after the closing table? Because see, if they remember you and it sticks with them, they're going to refer people to you, if, in all areas of your life, or with this tool, with your real estate business. It's that stick factor that keeps business front and center long after the transaction. So you need a spend with value, right? And then you need a stick factor. And that's what we're talking about today. Listen, real estate agents, in a normal market, at least normalized market, right, spend a fortune attempting to retain clients for life. That's our goal. I want to get them and I want to keep them, right? When they're ready to move again, I want to be the one. But all we ever need to do, we don't need to spend a fortune out there. What we need to do is to add value to what we're already doing. And it doesn't come from the simple things. It doesn't come from the gifts that we might give them. It comes from a spend that you might have. So they see your value long after closing, so that you are the person they think of when they hear anybody selling real estate, anybody buying real estate. You're the one that comes to mind. And I can tell you that's possible because I did it. I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit because we're talking about your business, okay? And I'm showing you what you see here is a marketing piece with this program in mind, with the spend that I'm sharing with you today. So I want you to just imagine, okay, that you send this postcard out, and I want to say a couple things about this. The photo on the postcard, when we send them out, is actually the photo of the person's home. So in other words, if you get a postcard in the mail and it's got your home on the front, you're going to read what it says. So it's a little more laborious for us, but it definitely pays off. So they get a postcard, it's got their home on it, got paid in full. They might be thinking, yeah, wouldn't that be nice? We only owe 29 years, right? But it's a psychological hit when they see their home paid in full. And then, it says, it was our honor to assist you in the purchase of your new home. Now that the dust has settled, we'd like to show you how you can build equity almost overnight and pay it off in a fraction of the time. Let's talk. Now, yeah, that's great for people you have sold, but it could also be somebody else in your office who has sold. It could be somebody you don't know who sold. You could say, hey, congratulations on the purchase of your new home. We're real estate professionals that would like to show you a way to pay off in a fraction of the time, right? So it can work for anything. But I want you to just imagine what that looks like to your clients, okay? Try to get in their shoes. You found them home, good for you. It was a competitive market. They finally got one. They got settled, you got paid, everything's good. But then you circle back around and show them that you care. In other words, you're not love them and leave them, get back in a year or two when they might be ready to do something. You're actually back in their life, still in their life, saying, now that you've settled down just a little bit, I got something else you need to see. And so it has so much power if you just imagine what that looks like. Listen, I'm a dinosaur, no doubt. This will be my third downturn market. That ought to tell you a little bit about how long I've been in, right? But I can tell you, in the early days, we didn't have GPS. I'm a dinosaur. We didn't have GPS. I was a road warrior for the first several years of my auction, business. And I did the Baltimore, Washington metropolitan area. I put 75,000 miles a year on a car. I trashed them in a year, right? But I had people, I can look at a map. I'm not completely clueless. I can tell you the major arteries, right? But I actually had people on my team that would do nothing but map out my route for me. Some days, if they were in close proximity, I might do 15, 20 auctions in a day. And so they mapped it out. But you know what? They couldn't anticipate construction, an accident, any kind of delay. They couldn't anticipate. If it wasn't on a map, they didn't know about it, right? They did their best for me, but that was about all they could do, right? Then GPS came along. When that GPS came along, it was a game changer. I had to put those people working on other things for me, but suddenly I had a tool that could anticipate all those things I couldn't see. And where would we be without it today, right? So the same that's true for navigating your way to a location, if you will, is true for your finances. There's so much on paper that we don't understand. We can't see, we can't anticipate. It's just nearly impossible, without help. So when you can have a financial GPS, which is what we're obviously talking about, you can navigate your way there smoothly. So who would choose in this day and time to stay in a paper world with a paper map. Who would choose to do that financially? If there's a financial GPS that can direct you point to point to point to point, anticipating all the moves you should make, not only to get you to zero or debt free, but to get you a point where you can start building wealth. And the answer to that is should be nobody would, right? That's why consumers are flocking to this tool. That's the bottom line. They see it, they believe it, they want it. They don't necessarily want to stay in a 30-year mortgage. It's just been told by so many people in our industry, unfortunately, that why would you want to pay off a mortgage? Why? Because it's when you get a handle on that debt, you can start building wealth, and that's where we come in. And so we have a financial GPS. Listen, if you're like most people, at least a lot of real estate agents, I'm a skeptic too, right? A lot of us are, you've already shut down on me almost because you don't know what I'm talking about. But let it suffice to say, the company we're talking about, the creators of this award-winning financial GPS system, they've been around a while, been around 16 years or so, right? They were actually nominated and won the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And, if you don't know about that award, the vetting is unbelievable. Okay, you should look into it. It's quite an honor. It's the same award that Starbucks, Microsoft, eBay, Apple, Amazon, and a host of other big players have won. So let it suffice to say, this might be new to you, but it's certainly not new. It's been around 16 years. What's happening now is there's a lot of momentum building up as people are, buying at the top and worried about equity and wanting to build wealth and wanting to retire. It's taken off like gangbusters. So there is a video that will show you a little bit more about how this thing works. I'm not doing that today because I want to talk about your business. But however you got here, through social media, somebody sent you a text, whatever it was, you're going to get a link to a video. It's probably going to be one about, 8 to 10 minutes long. It's not going to take your whole day, but do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, and do your clients a favor and watch that video. So you have a better handle on, the brilliance behind this program. But, listen, consumers are ready, okay? They're getting on board, and they shouldn't be getting on board without you. It's something that you should be adding to your arsenal of tools that you can offer your clients. They're ready, and they're wanting to do this. Listen, again, guys, I'm not a sky is falling person, but I have been around the block more than once, and I can tell you the real estate market is starting to fall. And when it does, there's so many people that just need a handle on that equity so they have choices. I remember back in the day, when the first bad real estate market, I came in at that time, and people would call and ask about the auction program. And we would literally say, how many birthdays has it had? And we meant how many years has it been on the market? And at that time, there wasn't any help. You just kind of, if you couldn't afford to write a check to get out of your mortgage, you just kind of sat there and slowly bled to death because you couldn't pull the trigger and just pay to get out, right? Then the last downturn that we had in the early 2000s, what did we have? We had a whole lot of bailout going on because the banking industry was instrumental in what happened to us all, right? This time out, as it shifts, I don't believe that's going to be there. So we have to help people get a handle on equity without, looking to somebody else to help them get a handle on equity. And that's what we're all about. That's why consumers are looking. So you might say, what's in it for my clients? Well, there are three major things in it for your clients. Number one is they're going to save money. And so if they're able to get a handle and navigate their way through that debt, if they're able to be shown how to, save a lot of interest, not pay a lot of interest, then they're saving money, no doubt about it, right? And then they're going to save time. Well, we all know that, if you get a handle on your interest, you can put more toward principal, which speeds everything up. So when we tell people they can, pay off a 30-year mortgage in a fraction of the time, that's gospel truth. We can, right? So we save them money and we save them time being the most precious commodity we have, right? And then they can look at building wealth beyond home ownership. Yeah, I think it's very, very sad. Now, again, I've been in real estate for a million years, but I think it's very sad that the average person feels accomplished if they just buy a home. And if they someday pay it off, it's great. But they feel like that's where their wealth is. They can't look beyond their mortgage and figure out, how do you build a real estate portfolio? How do you own a rental property? How could you build wealth for your retirement? They don't have a clue. They think that a major asset, their wealth is found in their home. And so we take them that step beyond, so that they can not, have wealth beyond just their home ownership, whatever they opt to do for that wealth, right? But, we have to look at basic banking principles, which is what you'll see a little bit more of in that video. But there's some things we know in the real estate industry, most of us refer, give a couple names to a couple of mortgage companies, and we get relationships going on. We know about mortgages for the most part, right? There's certain things we know. We know about strategic payoff. We might tell our clients or suggest that they make one extra principal payment a year, speed that thing up a little bit. That's strategic payoff, right? And we certainly know about interest accumulation, put money in an account somewhere, earn interest. We know about that. But there are so many other things, just like on that paper map, we wouldn't begin to know. Most people, including real estate professionals, we don't know the details of how to offset accounts, like home equity lines, and lines of credit. Now, we know they exist and we might have a little strategy going on, but we don't know how to offset them. We're not in the banking business. A lot of people don't know the difference between open loan and a closed loan, right? They don't have a clue what that is. They don't know how to cancel interest, which means how do you just, not pay it at all? They don't know how to do that. Banks do, but we don't, right? They don't know how to float interest or float and leverage, their debt, and their payments, et cetera. And certainly don't know about the sequence, Most people would say, well, if you want to get out of debt, you take your highest interest credit card first. Well, that may not be the way to do it at all. And they don't know about the timing. And so, bottom line, listen, I'm one of you, but I know that we are not financial professionals in that regard. We are not in the banking industry. And there's a whole lot most of us don't know. To the right side of the screen, you see something familiar. It may not look like this, but that's a mock-up amortization schedule. And I know that as I've gone to closing, I could count on one hand the number of people who actually focused on that amortization schedule, because when you look at it, you think, holy moly, what are we doing? Right? So you don't want to look at what is going to be loaded up over 30 years. But for the sake of our conversation today, this is based on a $300,000 mortgage with a 3% interest payment or interest on the loan, right? And so, we have to look at, if you were able, let's just go to year number 5. If we looked at, total interest paid year to date in year number 5, that is not a very high mortgage in today's standards, $300,000. Interest rates a little bit higher than you might be hearing, but a lot less than I paid when I paid 18% a million years ago, right? But nonetheless, in this particular situation, it's $42,000 in interest in 5 years on a pretty reasonable loan. So what would happen? If we did have the ability through a GPS to show us how to maximize our finances, and we could pay a whole lot less interest legally, obviously, then a whole lot more could go toward principal and a whole lot more time could be saved. That's the bottom line of what we're looking at. So we don't need a degree in finance. Nobody's trying to recruit you out of your real estate world. Yeah, you're in it, you're good at it. We're trying to bring you value through an added tool that you can offer your clients. And so what any of us need, you, me, and all of our clients, is a financial GPS. Quit using paper maps trying to get there when we have the luxury of a financial GPS. When we do this, when clients say, well, I'd like to hear more, we go through what we call a debt-free report, which means, basically nobody's looking for account numbers or socials or anything like that. They could be compromised. What we look for is just, what is the debt? What is the income? We try to figure out, what's the date? It's like a GPS. Okay, this is where I'm going. When will I get there? This is a report from a friend of mine, very good friend of mine. I have the approval to use her, by the way. But the bottom line is, she was a broker for 38 years. She wasn't just a broker knocking around. She was a leader in her market. She took over, became number 1 in the Northern Virginia market. She was number 1 in the Central Florida market. This woman knows her stuff, right? She sold a lot of real estate. Well, came time that she and her husband wanted to retire. They moved to Florida in the Panhandle because real estate very affordable there. And she thought that was it. She's packing it all in. Well, slow but sure, debt starts racking up, right? And so she was very depressed, to be honest with you, 70 years old at the time. And she said, I cannot believe that all the years I did this, I made a ton of money. And here I am at the end of my game, and I'm going to leave nothing for my kids but a bunch of debt. Very depressed. And I'm serious about that. So I asked her if she would let me, run a report and see how we could help her, right? The only reason she agreed to it, by the way, is because we're friends and we know, love, and trust each other. Okay. But she did it. And so what you'll see here, you'll see the debt on the left side screen, you know, that she had her mortgage, 2 mortgages actually, a personal loan and 7 credit cards. And so it was $208,000 in debt. To keep the story short for today's call, I just want to focus your attention to the right side of the screen. So here we are. We were able to save her. Remember, time is our most precious. She's 70 years old, right? We're saved her 19.3 years. So she knew exactly the day. She's got about 2 years left, and it'll be her birthday month in January. And so she's got about 2 years left. Should be debt-free from the time we first spoke to today in about 4 years. Let me tell you something. My friend wept. She could see hope. Like, all the years in real estate, I never figured it out. Well, none of us do, right? And so she was so excited that there was hope that she went from just thinking, wow, I don't have to leave a mess for my kids, to actually thinking, if I can speed things up like this, I can probably invest in some stuff. And that's what she's looking at today. In the green column here on the right, you'll see I said save money and save time. We saved her $112,000 in interest. And again, 19.3 years, pretty remarkable. Only with a financial GPS can we navigate our way to this kind of result. It's pretty exciting stuff. Well, I told you my friend, I just use this as an example here, but you know, if you look at the right side of the screen, $225,000 is still about their market where she lives, and $1,400 a month is still about the rental rate. So if you took the almost 20 years that we saved her, she could actually buy and pay off 15 properties in the same amount of time using a financial GPS. You see, that's what's missing. Most people don't understand. They think they got to win the lottery or have a rich aunt die, or something's got to happen, triple their income in order to create wealth, but you don't. What you need to do is be able to spend as wisely as you can with a goal to go from debt to wealth. And so it's pretty remarkable. She won't go to 15 more properties, but she's already looking at a couple of them, and she's already knows that she can get, you know, more than one paid off in, you know, 4 or 5 years. She's pretty excited, and you should be too. Well, in your real estate business, think about this for a second. As you help people understand, you know, instead of telling them, like we did for years, by the way, why would you want to pay off your house? Instead of doing that, point them in the right direction. When they're ready to buy, who you think they're going to call? They're going to call you because you helped them get there. And so this is a spin with value beyond anything, I assure you, that you've ever dealt with before. Forbes put out this article late sometime last year, in the spring, I believe. But bottom line, it was, you know, kind of running the numbers and monitoring what was going on in the real estate market. And their survey found that 64% of millennials, 45% of Generation X, and 33% of baby boomers already regretted their home purchase, you know, for reasons like they overpaid for the property. Come on, guys. If you step outside of a real estate audience and have a conversation, you know, people are overpaying for properties. So they overpaid for properties. High maintenance costs. A lot of first-time home buyers, they never anticipated. Maybe they got a property, had more issues. They waived inspection, you know, whatever. High maintenance costs, a poor location. Well, they turned their head to everything just to get a house, right? They got caught up more than you would have in an auction, right? Where all common sense leaves you, just go out there bidding, right? They got poor location, or maybe they got the wrong house size, too big, too little, whatever it is. But when you look at that, these people with regrets, okay, now the market's shifting. And as the interest rates go up, the prices are going to go down. These people are stuck unless we show them a way out. Now, wouldn't you want to show them a way to gain equity quickly so they have options, not just for them, but for you? If your answer is no, something wrong here, right? So I want you to know that, again, nobody's trying to get you out of real estate, get you sidetracked, get you in a new career kind of thing. You know, that's a personal decision you can make. But the bottom line is your clients will be in very good hands. They will be assigned a personal success coach that will help them set up their GPS, you know, input the location and that sort of thing. And they'll be set up for debt elimination and then wealth accumulation, just depending on where they want to invest when they're in a position to. You won't be doing that unless you choose to do that for some reason, right? They'll be, you know, assigned a corporately vetted person with a 16-year-old company to help them get there. So your job is just to introduce the spin and to let the professionals help them. The bottom line is, yeah, we do want you on board. There's no question. You know, we want you to join our team. We want you to have that competitive edge. And I am going to show you here on the next slide, I believe, exactly what that looks like. But we want you on board. Why? Because, well, the company motto here is buying back America one family at a time. We know that when people get in a better, that if we have stopped building wealth, okay, and we're just kind of like hamsters on a wheel, we're happy as long as we pay those bills. But what can we do if we could actually get rid of the debt, right? And so, yes, we want you on board. No, you're not going to dance around it at all. We do. So then there's another benefit here to you, and that is to have a profit center. Listen, I don't know where you are in your business, how long you've been into business, but I can tell you, successful real estate businesses always have more than one profit center. Always. One feeds the other, one complements the other. With the major broker that I first affiliated with, they had everything from, mortgages to insurance to relocation to new homes to auction, general brokers. They had it all. Right. And so most successful real estate companies are going to have more than one profit center, and you need one too. This market is shifting. You need a tool, right? And then the wealthiest people in America always have more than one profit center. I read and talk to a lot of realtors, out there flying solo, maybe they're divorced or whatever, and they've got all their eggs in this one basket, and the market shifts, they're in trouble. We all need another profit center. So why not earn referrals? Why not develop a profit center with a spin that has a stick factor that's a good thing to do for your clients, well beyond the closing table? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to turn that away, right? The potential for more and more real estate referrals, by the way, it's immeasurable. I'm sorry, you can build a relationship every once in a while with people with fruit baskets and back to school kits and that sort of thing. But, when they are using a financial GPS that you introduced them to, and frankly, you pretty much know if they're following a system about when they might be ready to buy. And so it's immeasurable. Have you heard what I want to show you? My realtor turned us on to your realtor. It's unbelievable to spend. And so, you can get involved in a couple of different ways. It's your call, but you can share with your clients, past, present, future. You can just farm a community like you do now, right? The referrals, it depends. There's so many factors there, but begin about $500 somewhere in that range, and for each client that gets on board with the GPS. And then of course they get corporately vetted professionals to do all the heavy lifting. So that's kind of just a referral. You need to hear about this and a postcard, put them in touch with the right people, and you get a referral for doing it. That's a dream world in real estate, right? Or you can take it seriously, just like a real estate business overall would, and set up a profit center, a wealth building division of your company. Wow. I mean, that'd be pretty awesome if you got your agents trained, train your entire team, whether you're with Keller Williams or whatever brokerage you're with, you have a team, train them to do the heavy lifting so they're more intimately involved in the transaction. Difference being, just like referrals in real estate, right? You're going to make more money if you handle the transaction than you would if you just referred it. So the same kind of thing. But you can get involved in any capacity that you're comfortable with. This is what we say to people, and I want you to see how easy it is. I can show you a way to pay off your mortgage and all your debt in a fraction of the time without refinancing, without a change to your lifestyle. I'd like to set up an appointment with one of our accelerated equity partners to share more information with you. Come on, guys. Any of you can do that. That's you call all your clients. Anybody can do that. And, you're not asking, you're basically saying, I got a tool for you and you need to take a look. Anybody can do that. So if you decide that you want to join forces with us, that you want to learn more to help consumers all across America to buy back America one family at a time, what it takes is $149 to give you access. Now, this is not an infomercial. I don't make anything nobody makes anything on that $149. It's just like, I kind of laugh in real estate. You couldn't get a sign for $149, but that qualifies you to become a representative, an agent, if you will, so that you're authorized to talk about the program, to get paid your referrals, that sort of thing. There aren't any monthly fees, no tricks or anything else, but it does cost. It's kind of like joining the MLS to have the tools, right? It costs $149 for your first year to have access, so you're authorized to promote this to your client list. If you decide that, after that first year, you're still working it, it's $50 a year to renew for that. Again, nobody making money on that. So don't let your dander go up like, oh, I knew she was going to sell me something, because nobody's making money on it. But it does give you your marketing videos, the websites, tracking system, depending on how much you want to do, with this program yourself. But it gives you all the tools, including the ability to run a debt-free report like I did for my friend, if you choose to do that. We also have the corporate people that can do that. I do want you to know January is the month we talked about last year, if you were on one of the calls, and that is that I have developed another designation program. I believe it adds value to all of us, right? And so that designation program will allow real estate professionals to become an accelerated equity partner. Certainly sounds a lot better than, than whatever you would call yourself adding this program in. But the designation is beginning this month. I do have 12 actually real estate agents kind of testing the waters. I kind of want to work bugs out before it's opened up to everybody. But I want you to know, this month while we're, together, that if you've tuned in and if you're going to run with this, tool, if you will, the spin, and become part of our group of people helping people, then that designation will be free for you. So be sure you go back to however you invited, social media, text, or whatever. And as it's open to the public, if you will, the public of real estate agents, it will be free for you. So you get to take it from there. But what's involved there? Well, clearly, I remember when I came up with a certified auction specialist designation, it went like crazy because agents wanted to let people know. They wanted to put it on their business card. They wanted to promote it, right? And so that certainly is a plus that you have a formal promotion. But it's also because of my marketing background, I put all the tools in place. So I think there are 4 or 5 press releases that you could use, kind of get a glimpse of that on the left-hand side. All the text that you would need, the content for your email campaigns, your social media, that sort of thing, that's all in place. So when you're, have your designation, you're part of that network, if you will, you have all the tools to promote this to your client list. I don't know how it could possibly get any better than that. But I did want you to know that that's coming. And so now I want to open it up. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer those questions, and I won't belabor it too long. If you, if you do, you do, and if you don't, you don't. But let me get the share screen off and look at you in the eye and see what you might have. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, guys, I thank you for joining us today. I hope I've, raised your awareness a little bit, that you got what you came for here today. We are on a serious mission, feeling really good about what we're doing. It's not just what's in it for us, is it? It's always, what we can do to serve our clients best. So this is a great tool. I hope you'll embrace it, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless. Bye-bye.